Now to major news from the U.S. Attorney's Office. A former state senator facing an indictment on 2 federal child sex abuse charges. Bella Kraft breaks down the charges he's facing.
Former North Dakota State Senator, 79-year-old Ray Holberg, has pleaded not guilty to federal child sex tourism and child pornography charges. Court documents claim from 2011 to 2016, Holberg traveled to the Czech Republic to engage in sexual activity with children, and he knowingly received child sex abuse materials. Holberg was the longest-serving state senator until he resigned last spring after he was investigated for texting with a man in jail for child pornography charges.